Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Tyler Perry's Sistas. So the episode started where it left off, and we see Zach finally go into Fatima's place. She done finished cooking, and she kind of in her feelings because she has already felt like it was gonna go sideways. He came up in that line talking about he met up with her and they had sex and that he told her that he loved her and want to be with her and they getting back together. And so this entire time she's just like, okay, okay. And then and I'm just like, why are y'all? It's like I wanted to scream at them and I was like, why are y'all not communicating? I don't understand why Fatima is not asking specific questions like, okay, so what exactly was said that led up to this? Because you seem like you were feeling me. What is it now? Like, what is it about her that's making you choose me? And I mean, it's like, I kind of understand why a lot of y'all probably would be like, girl, if they don't want you, then go on about your business. I don't even want to know, whatever, whatever. I used to be like that. And like, depending on the situation, I feel like you do still need to be like that and be like, oh, well, they don't want me. Let me go on about my business. Like, they're showing me they don't want me. Okay, let me go on about my business. And with his situation, it's like, I'm not understanding why he didn't go up in there and play the recording. Like, why not play the recording? So he didn't play the recording. She told him to get out. She told him, I don't know why she felt the need to tell him that the food that she cooked not long after he leave, there will be another man there partaking. And I'm like, why? And so he looking at her like, oh, so you like that? And so she was like, if I want to be, I'm doing it like that. Okay, and so they talking about F you to one another. I'm like, wait, I don't like stuff like that. That's one thing I do not like. I don't like for somebody to live for me in 1 second and for you to just flip a switch and then all of a sudden you can say F me and cuss me out and yell at me just because something was said that you didn't like. And it's like, instead of asking questions, the communication wasn't what it needed to be. The communication was not giving what it was supposed to give. And I'm just like, no, I wasn't here for that part. And he left. And I was just like, y'all, come on now. That was not how that was supposed to end. I was not here for that. So then we see Andy. And what y'all say this man name? Y'all said his name ain't Leslie. Wait a minute. Let me try to think what his name is. Is it Robin? Did I get it right for once in my life, y'all? Is his name Robin? All I know is that it's like a unisex name. And I be saying everything but the man that I know. I just said Leslie. I just said like 4 different names. Is it Robin? Y'all let me know. Please tell me I'm right for once in my life before this season go out. Like, I don't know why. But anyway, I guess Robin, she up in this man's room. They about to get it popping. And then she like stops herself and she was like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. I know I'm probably going to feel bad about this if I do it. Yeah, I do want to do it. But so he was like, no, it's okay. I understand. I'm glad you did stop me. This is your second time stopping me. Nobody's ever stopped me since 16. This man, when he was 16 years old on up until now, people never stop. People never stop the situation from going down. They normally are here for it. And so she's like, really? Oh, okay. So then after she has continuously apologized and he's trying to tell her it ain't that deep, it's all right. She's like, oh, so when will I see you again? And he was like, you will see me, but it's going to be a while because y'all know he going back across the pond. And so it's like, child, put your clothes on and go on about your business. We're going to get to her putting her clothes on at the end of this episode, at the end of this recap review, because I'm just like, girl, what kind of foolishness is this? But anyway, so as she exits this man's room, she runs right into Zach, which we've seen in the preview. And I'm like, why? I hate when they do that. Stuff that they don't need to show in previews, they do. And I'm just like, even though that was a very, very, very small thing to show, at the same time, that is one of the many things that I do not agree with Tyler Perry. And like, it might be like 1 or 2 other shows that I have seen do that and they'll put in a preview. I'm like, yo, why would y'all do that? That don't make no sense to me. That could have been a moment where we all gasped and clutched our pearls. But no, we already knew that was coming because we saw it in the preview. And so he like, hey, Andy, what's up? What you doing here? And so she was like, Zach. And then she like, sped walk on away from him. I was like, girl, bye. So he went into his room because that's apparently where he's been staying. He in his feelings. So he calls Fatima. Fatima does not answer the phone. That's the petty in people sometimes. And, given the fact that in this moment she's believing what he has said and you just cussed each other out pretty much. It's like, what am I answering the phone for? I'm not trying to answer the phone and have to deal with hostility and toxicity and you cussing me out. Why would I want to answer that? Like, I don't like that. Child, when I tell y'all that's what my ex would do, the relationship over with and you calling me to argue with me and I'm trying to I gotta go to work. Like, what is we doing? Y'all, and I was working 2 jobs at the time. I was heading to my part-time second job. And like, it's like he knew that. So he would call right as I would be leaving my other job to try me. And it's like, and I was answering the phone because in my mind, I was like, okay, he finally gonna man up and apologize for trying me. Because y'all do not understand the level in which this man tried me. He tried me on so many different levels. It's like, it's a wonder that I didn't bust windows out of his car, didn't bust tires, didn't put a whole pack of king size Snickers bars in his gas tank. Like, I'm just saying, it's that level of how much he tried me, and all of that would have been well deserved. Don't care what anybody says, and then some. Ran him over with the I'm just saying of how bad he tried me. But in my mind, I was like, okay, maybe he'll apologize today. And that's why I was answering the phone. But it had to get to a point where I was just like, I'm ignoring every text message he gonna send me. Like, it got so bad, I was ignoring him. I had finally gotten to a point where I ignored him because he was really disturbing my peace. So I ignored him to the point where no text messages were responded to and did not answer any phone calls. This man had to reach out once everything started happening in 2020 to email me and act as if he was concerned about myself and my family, with whom he's never liked when they've done nothing to him, but always ask me, hey, well, how he doing and how y'all doing and whatever, always been positive as it relates to our relationship. He had to email me to get in contact with me. That's how over it I was, like, bruh, and I did not respond to that either. So, yeah. In this moment, I understand her not answering that because it's like, what do we even have to talk about? But like I said, in my situation, I was hoping that he was going to be man enough to be like, you know what? I really did do you dirty. Like, you did not deserve that. I did you dirty and I apologize sincerely, whether you accept it or not, whatever. Oh no, he would call me to holler and scream. Y'all, I lost my voice almost every single day. Almost every single day I was heading to my job. While I was sitting in the parking lot waiting to go into the job, I'm screaming to the top of my lungs. I should not have to scream to the top of my lungs, talk to nobody. And I ain't never been in no situation like that before when dealing with somebody. That was the first, and that's going to always and forever, in my mind, going to be the last time. Don't get nobody that power. Sorry, I had to take a moment to let y'all know about that because that was too much. That brought up a moment for me when I saw that because I was just like, what we not finna do is that. Like, why would I answer the phone after you just cussed me out and I just cussed you out and it's over with? What do we have to discuss? It's over, sir. Anyway, so Karen has made it to the little place where she and Aaron are gonna link up at, excuse me. And so she's talking to him and he trying to, understand if the way that she's looking and her responses, if they have anything to do with him or whatever. And it's just to the point where she's like, I can't do this. I can't do that. And I'm just like, child, please go somewhere and sit down. Please stop. And then she gonna lie. I don't understand why the two of them lie. I don't understand why Zach lied. And I don't understand why she lied. She told me he never said what I needed him to say. And she said that she needed him to say, I don't love you anymore. And I don't want you anymore. But then in the same conversation when she's talking to Aaron, she then says, he said it. And so he was like, oh, okay, so he did say it. And so she was like, yeah, he said it, but I know him. He didn't mean it. I need for him to mean it. And he looking like, okay, but does he need to mean it today? Like, does he have to say it today? And so she was like, yeah, he needs to say it today. I ain't got time. Girl, what? Girl, I just be wanting, some people just, if I have to grab the back of your neck to make you listen to me. But she needs to be choked, slammed at this point. It's like some people, you got to slap them. Slap some sense into this heifer. Somebody, please. I'm so sick and tired of her. Y'all, I'm sorry. She just irritates me. Karen irritates my soul. And I was like, girl, It just seems as if she has so much time on her hands now, to the point of where, since she ain't got no clients almost, that she's just like, oh, let me sit back and just think on all the times that I had with Zach. And oh, let me do this. Like, usually you can throw yourself into work, but she can't even do that because she barely has clients. That is a way to kind of keep your mind from being all over the place, because I've done that before. So she can't do that because I'm just like, girl, what is going on? I'm so tired. And I'm just like, girl, get on, please be done. Go somewhere and heal. Do that. Go somewhere and heal. So anyway, then we see Danny. And I always want to call this man by his real name. I know I'm wrong, but I always want to call him by his real name. But Preston Rodeo, they just finished having sex, and almost immediately, like less than 30 seconds after she hopped up off of him, he pulling his underwear on, his pants on. He ain't gonna wash up or nothing. What is going on? Where's the warm, wet rag? Where's the warm, wet, soapy rag? You didn't even go in there. I mean, no baby wipe, nothing. What is going on? What is going on? He just pull everything up, and she looking like, what's going on here? What you doing? And so he's like, I'm finna go home. So she was like, why though? And he's like, I'm trying to respect your boundaries. Like, we've already gone over this. So she was like, I mean, you can stay. He was like, no, I'm gonna go to my cousin's place. Then we find out that the cousin he been staying with is some heifer who married into his family, who is no longer married to the person that she married into the family and became cousins in that way. And so now she's looking at him sideways like, oh, the heifer ain't even in the family no more. And so she was like, what's her last name? What's her name? What's Anna or Annie's last name? He was like, you know, I'm not giving you that information because you ain't going to do nothing but go on social media and everywhere else trying to find her. So she was like, don't worry about it because I'm still going to find it. I'm going to find it. And I'm like, child, please stop. So then we see Karen at the house, and she get a knock on the door or the doorbell ring, and Aaron there as usual, and they talking. And I'm just like, child, somebody please. I'm so sick and tired. Be by yourself. And this heifer is like really deep in her feelings. And I'm just like, girl, why? I don't even want to talk about it. She just annoys me. And I don't understand, because he even was trying to tell her it takes time for you to get over somebody, and for that part of you to like not be the way that it is in this moment. I'm just like, girl, go somewhere and sit down. He over here bayed up with her and consoling her over a whole nother man. He ain't even finna get the draws at this point. And you know, most men do this because they think they're finna get the draws in a little while, because we end up being so vulnerable or whatever. And I'm just like, why? Why is this what we doing? So Sabrina at the house, and the conversation has ended. She didn't drink up all the wine. And so she's like, oh yeah, I think I'm a little sleepy. And so he was like, oh, okay, you want me to leave? She was like, yeah, I don't want to be late for work again. And I'm just like, girl, just stop. So he ended up leaving. First of all, girl, why did you get up when he got up to lock your door behind him? That bothered me. But the heifer proceeded to get on her phone and call Danny. Again, not getting up to lock her door. We live in a day and age where there are people lurking in hallways that will walk up and down a hallway of an apartment building that they have been able to get into, whether it is free access or not, and will just try every door. And it's like, what we're not going to do is that. And like in my building, like for like maybe 6+ months ago, there were children that like, they live in this building, and it's like, they would like go past everybody's door and like try the door. And like, I would be sitting right here, and I'm like, and I had to realize that the children were trying the doors. And I mean, they are like really, really small, like all under the age of 10, more than likely under the age of 7. But yeah, they're trying the door and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, it could be a situation like that that's innocent. But a lot of these people are trash, and they're really out here trying to see if a door is open, because people think this is back in the day. We can't do that no more. Even back where I lived, at one point in time, we could leave the house, go to the city, get groceries, and come back and leave everything wide open, all the other vehicles' doors and stuff unlocked, not worry about nothing. The last time we did that was one time we went somewhere. We went to town. That's what we call it. We went to town, which is within the city limits. of Montgomery, Alabama to get groceries. And then we came back and my daddy noticed that something was off. And we weren't even like all the way up on the house yet. And like, you have to realize we have a long, like a super long driveway. And we're driving. And my dad was like, all right, y'all stay here. I'm looking like, what? Somebody came on our property and went in my daddy's toolbox. Like my dad had this humongous like stand up tool, not no toolbox where you just open the lid. No, it's a real toolbox heaven. Got all these drawers and all that. It was a big red thing that had like several like drawers. They stole all my daddy's tools. They had stolen valuable parts because my daddy does like he rebuilds and fixes people's lawnmowers and vehicles, and like my dad is jack of all trades. So yeah, they stole all kinds of valuable stuff, including like tools. And after that happened, we didn't leave the house and stuff like that a lot, like never no more. Like we didn't really, I don't remember anything in the house being stolen like that because we didn't have it like that anyway. But still, the things that were of value were like copper and my daddy's tools. But people be out here stealing. And like we lived in the country and you literally have to go out of your way to come down our driveway, which takes, when driving the right speed limit, it might take you 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes to get all the way down our driveway, driving the speed limit that you need to drive, like just at a slow speed. So yeah, it's a long driveway. So these people did the most and came on our property to steal. So yeah, I'm just saying, don't nobody have time to leave doors unlocked. That bothered me so bad that she left that door unlocked. But anyway, I'm sorry, y'all went off on a tangent again. But yeah, she done called Danny. And so she was like, oh, I was just about to call you. She was like, okay, that's cool. So she tell her to go first. Then she tells her about the pegging situation. Just in case you weren't here last week when we discussed it. If you don't know what pegging is, here it is. The definition of pegging is when a man enjoys penetration from a strap-on, usually used by a woman, but I'm pretty sure it can still go for a man. But yeah, like if the dude ain't working with nothing, I'm sure he could put one on and do what he want to do as well. And I think that there are people who could just do it in another way, but usually it's when a woman puts a strap on and they enter the back door of a man. And that's what's going on. So that's a fetish of Calvin's. And so Danny looking like, ooh, okay. So she was like, well, I mean, he said that I don't have to do it. That's not something that I have to do and whatever. And I'm like, child, not me. My thing is, like, I feel like when I'm with somebody, I can be somewhat sexually liberated, but to a certain extent. Like, I mean, y'all probably like, girl, that's an oxymoron, but I'm just saying, like, but when it comes to that, I don't think I can do it. No. But yeah, they just had a back and forth conversation about that. And y'all know how Danny is about old boy anyway. It's giving, not straight to her anyway. Every little thing she said to him is always not given straight. So, but as I've mentioned before, men have arousal points, erogenous zones, and whatever else in that area. They're prostate and things. It's something that arouses them. It is what it is. But I'm not trying to be the one who's getting back there with any part of my own body or even a strap-on. It's not my ministry. No ma'am, no sir. But anyway, Andy ended up calling Fatima, and she could tell Fatima sounded like something was wrong with her or whatever, that she was feeling some type of way. So she was like, I'm over here at the Carlisle. You want to come over here and have drinks with me or whatever? So she was like, yeah, I'll be over there. So when she got over there, she talking to her. And then at first she didn't want to talk to her about what was going on. And then she told her about the situation. So she was like, wait a minute. I I can't believe this. This can't be true. Because she over here thinking that they done had sex. And she was like, well, I don't know how true that is. That doesn't sound right. But I don't know. And I'm like, girl. Like, I actually thought that she was going to call Karen to see what she said. Just to kind of gauge her. To kind of see if she was going to tell her, since they're in such a weird place because of Karen right now. But she didn't. So then things started clicking with Fatima. And Fatima was like, you saw him. Like, oh, so he's staying here. Oh, okay. You know, so her wheels are turning. And she was just like, wait a minute, well, what room is he in? Because the stuff she started saying, it made sense. And I'm like, yes, Fatima. Fatima's smart. She know what it's hidden for. So she was like, well, what room is he in? Because she did, in fact, tell her that, you know, she and, what y'all say that man name? Not Leslie. I don't know why I don't remember his name. I don't know. I can't think of that man's name ever. I always see Leslie. Y'all know what I said it earlier, I think. The other man that Andy was about to sleep with. So she was like, oh, if he's in this room, then I think he's in this room. So she went up there to go and confront him. And she was just like, just stay here. And she was like, okay, I'll watch our stuff. And so she was like, shoot, knock on whatever his name is, do it for me too. I'm like, girl, if you don't go somewhere and sit down. And that's another thing. Like, I'm like, Tyler Perry, y'all gonna have to do better. Because this heifer was acting like she was a little turned. Like, she just needed an Uber home. Like, did she get an Uber home? Did she get someone to take her home? In my mind, I feel like she drove home. But we're going to get to that later on yet again. So, Maurice at the house, and he hear the door open, and it's Calvin, and he looking at him like, what going on? What happened? And he was like, I don't want to discuss my business. He was like, it happened. The discussion happened. I told her the truth. That's all I could tell you. So, he was like, you must have told her what freaky things you were really into. And so he was like, yeah. And he told him exactly what it is. And he was like, what? What? I was like, wait a minute now. Yeah, I already knew Maurice was going to get his life. I knew it. But I'm actually shocked that he just didn't say some of the things I thought he was going to say, because he always say little slick stuff like he going to be able to give him a piece. But anyway, he was like, I can't believe you said all that to her. Like, that's the problem. Because he was like, something wrong. Because for you to still be back here, what did you tell her? He was like, I told her the truth. But child, whatever. It is what it is. That scene was hilarious. Like, he really told this man business. And so he was like, well, don't act like that. I bet you like it. He was like, I mean, a lady never tells. And then he proceeded to say that he had been with somebody named Freddie Johnson. And I was like, boy, shut up. And he was talking about the person was anatomically already, you know, where they needed to be. Meaning that, like, in my mind, don't y'all look at him and you think that he's a bottom? And no, I'm not saying, oh, he's a bottom, trying to shame somebody for liking that or that being the dominant position or whatever you want to call it that he's in. Don't he seem like he would be a bottom? Like, as far as his character on this show. Don't y'all think he's a bottom? Again, not trying to throw shade, not trying to be negative at all. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, it is what it is. So Maurice is stupid. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. So then Fatima done got up there. This fool talking about, I got a woman in here. I got company. So she was like, tell that B to put her clothes on. I need to talk to you. I was like, wait. So he finally go to the door, fully clothed. And so he was like, what? Got the door all cracked. I was like, Fatima, set it off. As soon as I said that this helper to push the door open, I said, you better do it. Fatima is everything. So she talking about why the bed look like that. Because ain't nobody been there. Like, he was supposed to, she was like, well, where the woman at? He talking about she done went out the window. He was like, boy, you're on the 20th floor. Like, what are you talking about? So anyway, they get to talking. And so she wanted to know, did he and Karen really have sex? And he was like, yes, that day at the salon. And she was like, what are you talking about? I'm talking about today. And he was like, no, we did not have sex today. And so she was like, well, what are you talking about? She was like, you said you had sex with her today. And he was like, no, I didn't say we had sex today. I just said we had sex. And I was like, well, you're right. But it's like, why do that? You already knew what that was going to imply. Like, stop it. So then It's like everything was catching on. She was like, I gotta ask you something else. And so he telling her she got like 2 minutes or something like that. I was like, what? 5 minutes or half alone? And so she was like, I got one more thing to ask you. Wanted to know if Hayden talked to him. And so he was like, no, I ain't talked to him, but he dropped by the house and all this other stuff. And so she was like, I know it. I know it. I know it. And I'm just like, oh Lord, please just tell him what it is, because he's still mad at you and he still feels some type of way. So then she ends up calling the friend to confirm that the conversations have happened. And then it's like in her mind, I think the friend was like, wait a minute, just in case he listening. And I was like, girl, she had to hurry up and get off the phone. But she was like, you see what I'm talking about? Like, I don't feel that way about you. I ain't got to gas you up. You all of that and all this other stuff. And then, again, I'm not understanding what they're looking at and seeing in this outfit that he has on. What is going on? It looks like it's 5 sizes too small. That shirt looked like he got the baby gap. I was like, what is going on? The baby section of whatever brand it is. Like, y'all know I ain't up on nobody's fashion. Look at this Henley shirt. Like, I ain't nobody. I already know that, though. That's the thing I know about me. I know that ain't my ministry. But I'm just like, what is they looking at with this outfit he got on? But anyway, they was about to try to get into it and get into some things. And so she had to stop and was like, no, I got to go back downstairs. Andy at the bar. She watching my stuff, my purse down there, whatever. So he was like, you better hurry up. So now they back on. Child, this fool gonna say, did my member get bigger all of a sudden because he got all this money coming in? Oh yeah, I neglected to mention that before Fatima came in. After he called her and tried to leave a message, he tried to call Fatima, the phone went to voicemail. And so he got off the phone. So he in his feelings. So then right after that, his phone rings, and the woman who ended up investing his money before from the bank called him, and she was like, well, have you been watching, the stock market? And he was like, no. And so she was like, well, you should be. So he was like, man, please tell me. I don't need no more bad news. That thing ended up hitting for almost $2 million. Like $1,700,000 or something million. So he over here up again. And she was like, you're doing an amazing job. So he was like, can you move $1 million of that to my account? And so she was like, yes, I can do that for you. And so, like, he over here ecstatic. So, yeah, that's why, fast forward again, back to what I was talking about. Like, before she even came in the door and he realized that it was Fatima, he was like, man, I barely got the money back. Here she come. And I'm like, are you really going to say that? Fatima is not that girl. She don't need your money. And she's never been with you because you were coming up. Like, I don't appreciate that. Like, why would you try her like that? I don't like that. Child, all of a sudden, we end up seeing the last scene, which is the dummy Andy going home. And I'm like, again, like I said, how the hell forget there? Because she was a little bit too turned before Fatima even left, because she's drinking her feelings. And I'm just like, girl, you should not be going through hell with the person that you are engaged to. And it's like you over here torn as to whether or not you need to bust it wide open, tell him to bring it back with the dude that's up the steps upstairs, or if you need to be with Gary in all of this foolishness. And I'm just like, boy, bye. So they over in the place talking. He talking about, I done got rid of her. She wasn't a good fit and all this crap. And so she was like, well, I told you that she didn't need to be a part of the situation no more anyway, and that she was not right for it. And so he was like, well, won't you suggest somebody for me? And she was like, no, I'm not going to do that, because as soon as it go left, you're going to try to blame me. And so he was like, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, why? What is we dealing with him for? Gary is not the one. He is not it. It's like, he going to have to squeeze her to death for her to learn her lesson. Like, I can't. Then tell me why. She was like, I got to go take a shower. So he trying to do things to her. He over here trying to take clothes off. So then he raised up and was like, why are your panties on backwards? What? What is going on? What is going on here? I was like, bruh, don't nobody have time for this. And my thing is this, I have never put my panties on backwards. Now, have they been inside out before? Possibly, but not no backwards, baby. What is we doing? I'm so tired of my spirit. Oh Lord, y'all, that was the episode. Uh, he probably gonna choke her out, and I'm gonna be here for it because she don't learn. Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel, like this video. Bye.